So hello, my name is Dwayne Gordon. My title here is I'm the Associate Director for Veteran Outreach here at UNLV. And my position is in the Military and Veteran Service Center. And one of my jobs here is I am the manager of the PAVE program. So PAVE stands for Peer Advisors for Veteran Education. And we are one of 45 universities across the nation that is a part of this PAVE program. So PAVE was started at the University of Michigan. They are our headquarters for this program. And it was put together to help new student veterans transition from the military or from civilian life into higher education. So UNLV, we became a part of the PAVE program back in 2015. We were one of the founding universities to be a part of the program. So here, what we wanted to do is we wanted to help the new student veterans during their first semesters transitioning into UNLV. We wanted to just help them navigate the campus life, deal with any things that any problems that they may have had in the military, such as anxiety, PTSD, any military type of traumas. We would try to help them navigate those type of things while they're at a university level. So how it's set up here at UNLV, I'm in charge with creating a team of student veterans that want to help new student veterans here on campus. So I put together the team with half practicum students from the School of Social Work, and then the other half is just normal students here at UNLV. So once I interview the practicum students and the other team members and they're selected for the team, they go through an online training that trains them how to become a peer advisor for the PAVE program. So that training consists of things how to interact with student veterans, how to provide resources for those student veterans that could be dealing with anxiety or depression or things like that. And then how to navigate the process if they find a student that is dealing with more serious things such as suicide ideations or things like that, and how that that process goes. So those are some of the things that we deal with and help with students here at UNLV. So here at UNLV, we are one of the only PAVE programs that are actually an approved practicum sites for social work students. To become a practicum site, we had to go through the approval process with the School of Social Work, and once that happened, I started to hire on practicum students. So it is a little different for practicum students at this site. So you may hear me say assigned students. So at PAVE, everyone gets assigned students, but for social work students, that's their clients. So for instance, this semester, our social work practicum students, they have approximately 12 to 15 clients. And those clients are new student veterans that are here at UNLV, and this is their first semester. So the practicum students, they have to do their learning contract, which is basically telling the School of Social Work while they're here at this practicum site what they will be doing, what type of learning objectives that they want to meet or they have to meet at the practicum site. So once they create their learning contract, I am the preceptor, so I review their contract because I want to make sure that they are able to meet all their learning objectives and their goals while they're here at the practicum site. Once I review it, it gets turned into their AFI, which is Professor Aldava right now, and then the School of Social Work, they actually approve it, and once it's approved, that's when it's rock and roll time. It's time for them to start their learning objectives and make sure throughout the semester all those learning objectives are met. So I would like to provide an example of how our practicum students get social work knowledge and skills here at this practicum site. And I will take a few real world scenarios that we've dealt with this semester. So just last week, without saying any names, we've had two student veterans that we found out were living out of their car here on campus. And they decided to come into the office and let us know. But they were assigned, or they were the clients of a social worker here in the office. So that social worker, the practicum students, was reaching out to the student, just touching base, seeing how they were doing, and they started responding in a way that let the social worker or the practicum students know that something was going on. And she invited the student to come into the office to talk to myself and our director. And once that meeting took place, we actually found out that the student was dealing with a lot of issues: anxiety, depression, going through family issues, and then ultimately was living out of the car. So so we use different terms here, but for our practicum students, basically she did an intake with her client and actually so helped us find out exactly what was going on. And once we found out the level of seriousness, and this student was also having suicidal ideations and things, we did a warm handover from our office and our practicum students to our on-campus, we call it CAPS, it's psychological team to intake the person and assist with the suicidal ideations. But while they were doing that, our team and our social work practicum students was finding the student somewhere to live, and we actually successfully got the student a dorm room here on campus that they are currently living in until throughout their duration of this situation, or until the student graduates. Also, they're having weekly meetings with our CAPS office here on campus, and we also got the students some resources in the VA if they wanted to see a VA counselor. So basically the process was our social work practicum student, her client, she realized that was having some going through some difficult times, invited the client in the office to have more of a sit down. Once we were able to figure out everything that was going on, we were able to do warm handoffs and provide resources. But that's just one scenario that how our practicum students get some of the social work skills in this office. And there's probably another 10 different situations just this semester that our other practicum students we're dealing with. So day-to-day activity here for our practicum students. First of all, one plus that I like to let all the practicum students know when they're looking for practicum sites. All our practicum students, or actually all our peer advisors here, part of the program, are in charge of their own schedule. So I let them create their own schedule. They know how many hours they have to do here at a practicum site, but they can create their own schedule. They can let me know that I'll be in for 2 to 3 hours on Tuesday, another 2 hours on Wednesday. They create their own schedule here. And then they provide me their schedule. But once they're in the office, that's their time to really do their outreaches. The outreaches is their phone calls or emails, text messages to their clients, reaching out to them, letting them know what's going on campus, if there's any new resources or events going on in the community that they might be interested to. That's when they're in charge of doing that. And then when they get responses from their clients, we call those interactions. But all outreaches and interactions have to be logged onto our online management console. So in the office, they're logging all their outreaches and interactions, or they're conducting those. They can also invite their clients here to the office for one-on-one meet and greets or just discussions. Or if they don't want to come to the office, a lot of our practicum students meet, somewhere on campus, student union or somewhere in between classes with their clients, just to touch base with them and make sure they're doing all right. But so all of that can be done during their office hours work. It's very laid back, and it's very you're in charge of your own schedule and work. So, but once they do log their outreaches and interactions on the management console, me and my team leads are able to review and approve them. And once we review and approve your work, it gets sent up to headquarters at Michigan, so they can see how well our PAVE team is doing and how well we're connecting with our clients and things like that. And I've been here for 5 years, and for 5 years we have been one of the best PAVE programs in the nation, just because we're able to connect, we're able to hire a good staff of peer advisors, of trained peer advisors, and we're able to assist them in a way that other universities haven't been able to assist so far. And that's just from headquarters, relaying the messages down to us. All right, so just a little bit about myself. I am a Air Force veteran. I did 25 years in the Air Force. I joined the Air Force right out of high school. My plan was to enlist and get the GI Bill so my college would be paid for. But after 4 years, the Air Force sent me to Germany, and that changed my life. But just some of my things that I brought into the office that will help me connect and relate to other veterans. Just our shadow box just kind of just shows my entire 25-year career. Just has my rank. This is my badges, my medals that I earned while I was in the Air Force. Several of those are combat medals. They always put the most important at the top, but that's meritorious service medals, just for some things that I've did in my career. Some of the different countries. This is from Korea. This is from England. My basic training picture.
25 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, that was 92 right there. And then that was my retirement photo over here, and that's pretty much 25 years later. How it goes. And then these hats over here are kind of just a few of the combat hats from Operation Southern Watch to Iraqi Freedom, and that's Qatar. But yeah, that's just some of the things, and just why I have it here is because we actually help veterans, and once they do see it, it's kind of a something that they can relate to, or as I'm helping them and talking to that, they can kind of see that I've kind of been there and done it. So once I retired out of here, I actually just landed this job by luck. I'm the first person to hold this veteran outreach position here at UNLV. That actually assists the student veterans that are incoming here at UNLV. But it's actually very similar to what I did in the military. My last 10, 15 years was helping younger Air Force members, transition or things that they're dealing with in their job. My title, I was actually public affairs, which is somewhat PR type or journalist and all of that, but I was in charge of the younger airmen, is what we call them in the Air Force. But I was just there basically to help them out throughout their day-to-day job life, and then in the military, it's 24 hours a day, so we're actually helping them with their normal life also. So it just all kind of melted into one. But here I'm doing basically the same thing. It's just helping student veterans transition out and helping them with their life.